Alright, Shalom. First of all, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath, and Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this lesson is going to be based on these Canada wildfires that are still raging out of control. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says a state of emergency has been declared after thousands of people were forced to flee their homes as a fast-moving wildfire spread rapidly in Western Canada, doubling in size since it was first detected on Friday. Police said one person has died in the Bald Range fire, which is burning across 53 square miles in Summerland and other areas of British Columbia, according to the BC Wildfire Service. So we have to brace ourselves for the worst, Summerland Mayor Doug Holmes told Reuters. The Summerland area has been forced to evacuate along with thousands of others in nearby communities. Officials said flames were so high they had created their own weather systems, which creates lightning. Canadian police said on Sunday an 80-year-old woman from Meadow Valley, northwest of Summerland, had died suddenly while attempting to flee her home along with a member of her family. Police believe her death to be a result of the wildfire, police said in a statement. Kian Radomski, who lives in Summerland, said she evacuated her home just moments before the fire reached her property. In a video she shared with the BBC, burning treetops are seen just over the hill beyond the road where Radomski made her escape. Said, "This is right by our house," she said in the video, her voice trembling. Radomski said she has been unable to return since she fled with 7 others on Friday. Now they're anxiously waiting on word whether they will still have a home to return to, she said. She said some neighbors who stayed behind have reported many homes on the street burned down. There are homes that have been confirmed gone, and a lot are in the area near our home, so we're pretty scared, she said. The uncertainty is scary. Residents that spoke to described the wildfire as one that intensified dramatically with little warning before it reached its current size of 13,618 hectares, or 33,650 acres. British Columbia Premier David Eby told a news conference on Saturday that one fire official had likened the fire to a bomb going off. Said homes have been lost and properties have been destroyed. Some people became trapped as conditions changed very quickly and needed to be rescued. A state of emergency allows the provincial government access to special powers, including travel restrictions and supply protections to prevent price gouging, and extra resources to coordinate rescue work. Summerland, which has a population of about 12,000 people, has been one of the hardest hit areas and forced to evacuate. So were residents in parts of Peachland, which is home to about 6,500 residents. "We have been on evacuation alert many times," said Earl Kurz, a Peachland resident of 30 years. "This is the first time we were actually evacuated." Yeah, so it's like things just keep getting worse, man. And this is a sign of the last days. A very popular scripture is, 2 Timothy 3:1. That says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." And these wildfires that are burning in Canada and in so many other countries around the world, those are part of those perils. Those are part of the dangers of these last days. A lot of people, their home is getting destroyed. Now they're home. And the people who are really being affected by it are, these Edomites. Because best believe the Lord is bringing judgment upon them, and he is definitely visiting them because they are the wicked. Obviously, there are other people who are being affected as well. But it's hitting these Edomites a lot harder, like emotionally, because they can already see the writing on the wall. They can already see the writing on the wall. They can already see that they're losing power regardless of where they are, whatever country they live in. They can see that they're losing power, and the Lord sending these storms and tempests and fires and earthquakes upon them is only making things even more clear. So while Edomites are not the only ones being affected, like, see this Keegan Radomski chick, she looks like an Edomite, so if she is an Edomite, and if her house did get destroyed, hey, that's judgment upon her. Because you have to remember that wherever these Edomites are, that's where they colonized. They don't belong in that land. That land does not belong to them. So basically, the Lord is just destroying. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And that is exactly what these wildfires are. Flames of devouring fire. They devour land, they destroy cars, they destroy homes. They can kill people. And with the heat waves and the strong winds aiding these fires just spread and they intensify and they become more destructive and deadly. But this is the power of the Lord. This is the Lord's vengeance. Psalm 79:6. Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the nations that have not called upon thy name. And all the countries that are experiencing wildfires right now, that's what's happening. The wrath of the Lord is being brought upon them in the form of these wildfires. And of course, you'll have the simple-minded people who will be like, oh, that's just Mother Nature or climate change or global warming. These people, they refuse to acknowledge the Lord. And that in itself angers the Lord. Because these wicked, simple-minded people are constantly giving the credit that rightfully belongs to the Lord to someone or something else. Luke 21:22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And that's right. And that's why there's fires, storms, tempests, earthquakes, famines, power outages, wars and rumors of wars. That's why the love of many is waxing cold. That's why there's so much violence amongst the people. Because all of this is the vengeance of the Heavenly Father. This is how he is bringing judgment upon these wicked kingdoms and the wicked people that dwell within them. And he is going to continue to do this. He's going to continue to pour out his wrath upon the earth. And he's going to continue to destroy and to kill. Because that is his vengeance. That is his judgment upon the wicked people of this earth. And there is no stopping. There's nothing that Esau or anybody else can do to stop the judgments of the Lord from happening. Salakia. We are living in the last days. And in these last days, there will be a lot more destruction and death and chaos and misery. Like it says in James 4:9, be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter return to mourning and your joy to heaviness. A lot of people did not have fun this summer because a lot of people, they don't have enough money to be going on vacation like they used to be able to. Then you have the heat waves and the wildfires and the storms and the tempest, and people just have so much going on that they really weren't able to enjoy this summer. And the last time that people were really able to have fun and enjoy summer was like back in 2018, 2019. Because once 2020 hit and, the whole COVID thing happened, nothing's been the same since. And nothing will ever be the same again. 2020 really was like the main start of the end, because things were already bad before 2020, but 2020 just really, like turbocharged everything. And things have just been on a very fast decline since. And while majority of people are crashing out and they're scared and they don't know what to do, those of us of the hopeful elect, we're rejoicing because we know that all of this leads up to the kingdom of heaven, which ultimately benefits those of us of the hopeful elect. And overall, it will benefit our whole nation. After, of course, these wicked 2/3 get wiped out and then brought back through the loins of the elect in the kingdom. But yeah, ultimately, the kingdom of heaven benefits us as a nation. So we're rejoicing seeing all of these wicked kingdoms where we're still being held captive, getting destroyed, regardless of what manner of, judgment the Lord is using to destroy it. Whether it's earthquakes, storms and tempests, wildfire, like all you see is, destruction and, these harlot houses, aka these churches burning down, people having to shut down their business because they can't afford to keep it open. Like all of these different countries, these wicked places where these Edomites are ruling, where they have colonized and oppressed the people, all of these places are being destroyed. And as bad as it is for everybody, these Edomites, these so-called self-proclaimed white people, they're feeling it the worst. Because deep down they know that when the collapse fully happens, their ass is going into slavery. There will be no rebuilding for them. Once they go down, they're staying down. And they can see it and they can feel it, and it terrifies them. And that's a very beautiful thing, because the scriptures say that there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And we are currently witnessing the downfall of our chief enemy, being the so-called self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child, who are the biblical Edomites and who are the wicked that the Lord created. So, seeing our primary enemy suffering and struggling and falling brings joy to us. Just like when our nation fell, that brought joy to these Edomites. They love seeing us down and out, living in the ghetto and the projects. strung out on drugs, homeless. They love to see that. But now the Lord is turning the tables, and these Edomites are homeless, and they can't find a job. And they're the ones out here on the side of the road begging for change or strung out on the sidewalk off of drugs and alcohol. They're the ones that are, starting to really go through it. And they're crashing out. They're losing their mind because they never thought that they would be in that position. They always thought that they were just going to be living good while everybody else was under them. But this just goes to show that Esau was never in control. It was always the Lord that was in control. And the Lord set Esau up and put him in power. And now the Lord is removing him from power. And the downfall of Esau is going to be the greatest downfall ever. So even though, yes, there's a lot of destruction and death and chaos going on in the world, those of us of the hopeful elect who have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures, we're rejoicing because we know what all of this ultimately means. It means the downfall of all of these wicked kingdoms where we're being held captive. It means the downfall of our chief enemy, Esau. And it means that we're getting closer and closer to the kingdom of heaven being established and us as a nation being put back into our royal state. So it's actually very beautiful times from our perspective, and it's just horrible times for everybody else. All of these wicked people who have provoked the Lord unto wrath, and now they have to deal with the consequences of it. And some of those consequences do and will continue to present themselves in the form of wildfires, flames of devouring fire. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath, which are the sincere sisters, and shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah. Till the next